All right, in 5.2, we're going to solve absolute value equations that are set equal to a variable. So that's why this is different. They're set equal to the variable right here. Now, what does this mean? How is this different? Well, let me show you for a second. So the other day when we talked about this, we talked about, okay, our absolute value function looks like this, right? It's a v. What we did the other day is we solved when there was a horizontal line going through it, like this. Okay, and that definitely crosses at two places. Well, that's all fine and good if it's just y, or your equation equals a number. That's just a horizontal line. That's fine. But today we are changing that up. It's no longer just equaling a number, it's going to equal a linear function, which means that it's not a horizontal line anymore. It might only cross in one place. So we may only have one solution. Now, does that mean all of them only have one solution? No. It could be a line that crosses like this. Okay, it's not horizontal, but it does cross in two places. All right, so it could be a two solution. It could be a one solution question. We just don't know by looking at the equation. So that's why in today's lesson, you're going to have to check your answers and see if one of them is extraneous. All right, so that's the first thing I want to bring up to you is you're going to have to check your solutions. The answers can be extraneous, all right, and that's why. There's no way to know by just looking at the equation. All right, so let's try one of these out and see how it goes. It's just going to be tedious. It's not necessarily hard. It's going to be tedious. But I just want to point out, like, look at this equation. This x over here on the right is what's causing all this extra work because this is a linear function. It's not just a horizontal line. So because of that, we're going to have to check our answers. Now, we're going to set it up and work it the same way that we did it before. All right? So let's do this. We're going to isolate the absolute value. So I want to divide both sides by 6. What I do on the left, I have to do on the right. So these 6's will go away, and then I have the absolute value of 2x plus 5 equals, this becomes x, and this becomes 4. All right? Now I've isolated that absolute value, and now I'm going to do exactly what we've done before, where we split them up. So look at this. I'm going to do 2x plus 5 equals a negative x plus 4. And then I'm going to come over here, 2x plus 5 equals x plus 4, just straight the way it looked. So on the left, I'm changing the signs. So I have to do 2x plus 5 equals negative x minus 4. And now I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to add x to both sides. So I have 3x plus 5 equals negative 4. Subtract 5. 3x equals negative 9. So x equals negative 3. All right, or let's find the other solution. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and I have x plus 5 equals 4. Subtract 5 from both sides, and I have x equals negative 1. So I have two solutions, negative 3 and negative 1. I need to check to see if both are good solutions, so I'm going to check them. Now, since we have two to check, we got to notate which one we're doing. So the first one I'm going to check is I'm going to check negative 3. All right, and I'm going to show my work. Go back to the original question. So I would do 6, absolute value of 2 times negative 3 plus 5, is it equal to 6 times negative 3 plus 24? All right, let's find out. So 6 times the absolute value, this is negative 6 plus 5. Over here, I'm going to have negative 18 plus 24. So 6 times the absolute value of negative 1 equals, this will be 6. And absolute value negative 1 is 1, right? So 6 times 1, is that equal to 6? Yes, this one worked. So that is a good solution. Now let's try the next solution. I'm going to check down here the negative 1. Same process. 2 times negative 1 plus 5 equals 6 times negative 1 plus 24. Let's see if that makes a good mathematical statement. So I do 6 times negative 2 plus 5, negative 6 plus 24. 6 times negative 2 plus 5 is 3, equals, this is 18. The absolute value of 3 is 3. And I find out that 18 does equal 18. So these are both very good solutions. We're happy. So in your work today, I'm going to be looking for, obviously, that you've separated them out, negative to positive, and that you've checked your two solutions. Now there's no way to know, looking at your equation, if they're both going to work. One will work, one won't. There's no way to know. So there's no trick here. All right? So let's try another one. All right, we're going to try number 2. So again, we want to isolate the absolute value. So I'm going to start by moving this 2 over. By jumping it over here, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And I should get, this should be a plus 10 right there. Absolute value of x minus 6 equals 2x plus 8 is what I get next. Now, absolute value is isolated, so I'm going to split it up, and I'm going to do x minus 6. Oh, I don't need the absolute value bars anymore, do I? All right, x minus 6 equals the negative of, oh goodness, the negative of 2x plus 8. All right, so if I carry this out, let's finish this up. X minus 6 equals negative 2x minus 8. Now we're going to clean this up by adding 2x to both sides. I get 3x minus 6 equals negative 8. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and I have 3x equals negative 2. They divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals negative 2/3. All right, so there's one solution, but this isn't the whole story. So let's do the right-hand side, where I do x minus 6 equals, just straight up as it looks, 2x plus 8. All right, now I'm going to move that 2x to the left. So I negative x minus 6 equals 8. If I add 6 to both sides, I have negative x equals 14. If I get rid of the negative, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. So I have x equals negative 14. So there's my two solution possibilities. Now I need to check, see which ones are viable, which ones actually work. So I'm going to check first the 2/3, because it's the grossest one. Let's get it out of the way, right? It's negative 2/3. Let's plug that in. So negative 2/3 minus, I'm going to put that 6 over 1 for funsies, plus 2 equals 2 times negative 2/3 plus 10. All right, let's see what happens. I'm going to just do the left side first. So I need to get a common denominator in the absolute value of 3. So I'm going to have negative 2/3 minus 18/3 plus 2. And this will give me negative 20 over 3 plus 2. Absolute value of negative 20 over 3 is positive 20 over 3. Now I'm going to put that 2 over 1 and get my common denominator of 3 by multiplying it by 3. And that gives me 26/3. Okay, that's weird. Well, let's see what happens on the right side. Let's see if it matches. So over here, I'm going to multiply my fractions top to top, bottom to bottom. Negative 4/3 plus 10 over 1. I need a common denominator to add. So I'm going to multiply that 10 over 1 by 3 over 3, and I get 30 over 3. That gives me 26 over 3, and guess what? That's what I wanted, 26 over 3. So that's a good solution. Yay, go team. Now let's try the second solution, the negative 14. So let's check negative 14, see if it goes as well. So absolute value of negative 14 minus 6 plus 2 equals 2 times negative 14 plus 10. All right, let's do the right side. So I combine in there, I get negative 20 plus 2. Absolute value of negative 20 is 20 plus 2, and that gives me 22. All right, let's see what happens on the right. 2 times negative 14 is negative 28 plus 10 gives me negative 18. 22 and negative 18 are not equal, so this is not a solution. All right, so I've checked my work, I've shown my work, and I can show that this 26/3, or I'm sorry, the negative 2/3 is a good solution. This one is not so good. All right, but I've still shown all of my work.